Ladies and gents, welcome to a new episode of Laz Vic Live. I'm your host for this evening, comedian Laz Vic. It's great to finally be here doing another live episode of Laz Vic Live. Tonight, we have an awesome show for all of you guys. Tonight, we're interviewing one of my favorite comedians, Craig McLaughlin. That's right. Let's bring that back, Craig McLaughlin, or as I like to call him, Craig McLaughlin. Yes. So come on in, chill on out. We're going to have some music. We're going to have some good conversation. We're going to be chilling, doing our thing. And I invite you guys to come along for the ride. Here we go. Ladies and gents, please welcome to the show, Craig McLaughlin.
What is going on?
What's going on, my friend? First off, thank you so much for being on Laz Vic Live. This is an awesome honor for me. We've been working together as comedians for, I don't know, I've known you for a decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've done shows in restaurants, in Chinese places, in churches. Remember we did that church show?
I do.
We've done shows everywhere. So welcome to the show, man. It's great to finally have you here, Craig.
It's awesome to be here, and we can say without focusing too much on adjectives, you can broadcast this out. I am certainly the biggest comic you have ever had on your show.
You are certainly one of the most talented comics I've ever had on the show.
I like that. That's the way to go. See, it's good. I like that.
Just resetting the chat there. Guys, come on into the chat. Claudwig is here. One of the fellow unstable gamers. Claudwig, welcome. So, Craig, is it okay if I pronounce your last name McLaughlin?
You can pronounce it McLaughlin if you want. That's fine.
Because I think that is appropriate. You're a comedian. And the second that you said that to me at a show, because I was like, I kept asking you, how do I pronounce your last name? It's so hard. How do I pronounce? I want to pronounce it right. And you were like, just spell it laugh in the middle. And I was like, oh my God, that was it. That's all I needed. So, Craig, let's start by introducing yourself to the audience for those of us that don't know who you are. Little introduction about yourself.
Introduction about myself. As I said, we're working together probably longer than 10 years, probably close to 12, in various venues all across Jersey.
Yep.
I even have touched base in New York City at some point in time. It won't surprise me.
Yep.
I've been doing comedy that long. I don't do it. I am not nearly the professional that Laz is.
Oh, please.
You know, like, come on, just look at the setup. You know, this is phenomenal, and I actually am very, very pleased to be here. And oddly enough, my daytime job, I am a college professor.
Okay, awesome. That's amazing.
Little balanced comedy professor.
So you're a smarty pants, is what you're telling us.
Yes, I'll take that. I will own that. Yes, I am.
That makes a lot of sense. Seeing you headline the other night. We did a show a week ago, and it was a sold-out show at Red's, completely sold out. Most of the people there were for Craig, and you are quite the wordsmith, my man, and your intelligence really shows when you're doing your set.
Oh, thank you very much. Again, giving it right back to you, man.
How long have you been doing comedy?
Again, about 12 years, and I owe it. You know who I owe it? I owe it to where I went to high school. I went to high school at Jersey St. Peter's Prep, and randomly on Facebook you meet with all your former colleagues.
Yeah.
And one day Matt Kelly, who I haven't seen around too much, but you probably knew him from back in the day some, was doing an open mic.
Okay.
And I always like, I gotta do this. I hit base with him, got some back and forth. Somebody else I was friends with, Sean Morden, been doing comedy forever, touched base with him. Like, you know what, damn it, I'm gonna do it. I went, I did the open mic, and you know how it is, man. That the laugh that you get, and you get one good laugh. That's all you need. And it was at where was it? It was in the piano bar in Bloomfield, I think it was Bloomfield.
And so once you got that first laugh, you were hooked. You got the comedy bug bit you.
Yeah, and then you start working the scene, kind of because early on it is all about open mics. Anyone who thinks you're just going to go to do
You spent
shows,
years doing open mics when you first started. Yes, me too.
you know, like it is open mics. The only thing I avoided, and I don't say this as a negative to anyone who does it, it's just for me, it's just something philosophically that I don't love. Is I've probably only done about 2 bringer shows in my entire career.
Okay.
I don't like that concept of you get to perform and be funny.
Sure, it's a tough concept. Yeah.
You know, like so the only times I've done it was I get a chance. Like one with like Stand Up New York, where there was literally like 3 or 4 professional Comedy Central type comics. They're like, wow, this is cool. I get to work with them too. And I figured at the very least, my friends are coming out to see those comics, and I'm sort of like, hey, I'm up here too. It's okay. So,
yeah, and for those people that don't know, a bringer show is a comedy show where you have to bring a certain amount of people to get stage time, and the more people you bring, the more stage time you'll get in a lot of cases, which is insanity. It could be insanity sometimes. Anyway, I lost all my friends the first 2 years I did comedy, so I didn't do a ton of bringer shows, but I did a few, and that was enough to be friendless after that.
But now you don't need them. Now you just let it be known Laz Vic is performing, and they will come.
Now I'll just do shows online and never leave my house. That's the plan. You know? If I could do comedy as a hologram, that's coming, Craig. That's the next thing. If I could do like put me in a robot and I'd just be in my house in my underwear performing somewhere in like Connecticut, that's the most ideal situation. Work from home comedians. We should advocate for this, Craig.
The psychologist in me wants to analyze that.
Everybody gets to work from home except comedians.
I can work from home in my underwear and have a robot. Yeah, my mind's going a lot of places.
Let me control a robot remotely.
To tell you what, I'll get mildly off topic, and just because you mentioned that specific line, I did engage in some edibles not that long ago.
All right.
And that is exactly how I described the experience. It was like there was a little Craig inside of a big Craig robot trying to move it around. That was the exact thing I described to my buddies.
That's amazing.
Well, of course, it was like 100 milligrams, so it was way more than anyone should have. They're just trying it for the first time.
Oh, forget it.
It was fun.
So, is there, how long have you been doing comedy now?
Well, 12, like you said,
12, right? So, is there a particular moment that sticks out for you, a particular show, or maybe bad, maybe it's good, something that sticks out in your 12 years of comedy?
This is going to sound awful, but a couple of the things that stick out is just some, there's a couple of just random, like, either incidences or lines. Like, I did a show with Alex Cedric at Scotty's Comedy Cove, and, like, his mother came up to me, and she's like, oh, my God, you were my favorite comedian. And then Alex is standing next to me. I'm like, what about your son? No, other than my son. That's a good one. I did have a couple of guys try to pick me up at the Pint in Jersey City doing an open mic, not open mic, doing a comedy competition. Which, hey, I got no, it's cool, but it was weird because I feel like I led them on. Like I came in second.
You were probably leading them on, Craig.
Well, I was, because I came in second, and they're trying to console me. Oh, man, you got robbed. You were funny. Can we buy you a shot? Like 8 shots of Jameson's Raider. The one guy's behind me, like, rubbing my shoulders. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then all of a sudden, it's like, so, what are you doing after here? And then all of a sudden,
it finally went off after 8 shots.
Yeah, it didn't hit me until, you wouldn't just buy me shots because you thought it was funny. Yeah, that's right.
That's hilarious.
Thankfully, I had another show that day. I was doing a show with Craig Mahoney. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I got this other show. And I told him how to get there. I might have told him a whole different direction because that would have been an awkward situation. Like, I bought you all those shots, big boy. What's going on?
Just checking in on the chat. Claudwick says, what's up, Tony? Tony says, by the way, I had friends there too. He did. I had no friends there. So Tony and Craig both had friends at the show. I had no friends. Open Mouth, Open Mind joins us. What's going on? Our good friend of the stream, Mara, has joined us. She said, were you wearing a miniskirt, Craig? She asks.
No, but I got pictures if you want that. But you have to go to my OnlyFans for that.
Horror in Me, quite the name, says, I've seen Craig in a dress Don't let him fool you.
It's a Halloween costume, damn it, but yes.
They'll always get you on Halloween. Speaking of the spooky time, Craig, I heard you're a huge horror buff.
I am. Horror is... Can't you tell, folks? Like,
look at his background, guys. Look at that. Look at that clown. So you live with that clown?
I'm going to tell my sister you said that about it. Up, man. But yes, I do.
That is that the killer clown from outer space?
Yes, and that's just one of the many life-size entities that exist.
That's a great movie. Okay, that's a horror movie that I liked.
Yeah, oh, that's funny as hell. Shorty is.
It's funny, it's cheesy, but it's kind of spooky too. It's like kind of disturbing.
No, if you're young, it's gonna haunt you.
I was young when it was the 80s when it came out, right?
Yep.
I was just a kid. Like, that's what I want. It was terrifying. I mean, half terrifying. It was like, I couldn't take my eyes away. If you guys don't know, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, go watch it. It's a great Halloween flick.
Yeah. Oh, it's not only that, it's the Chioda brothers are masters of designing things like that. Like, they were involved in so many other great top-tier horror films. So it's like, you have their touch on there. You have the comedic element. Yeah. You know, like, you can't go wrong. And we got to watch that stuff when we were young. Kids today can't see that. It's parental advisory. It's too spooky. It's no good. It's like, we got to see that. Enjoy it. You know,
my parents let me watch anything I wanted. Mario Lucina joins the chat, says classic.
Mario. I love Mario.
Mario's another fellow comedian. He'll be hosting at a show I'll be at next Saturday. Is it, Mario? You could post a date in the chat. You could plug it away. So what is your all-time favorite horror movie, Craig? Since you're I don't know much about the genre. I just know about the popular movies.
I mean, any of my friends who are watching this, they know it's like, you can't answer that question. It's like, how
there's too many.
Like your favorite kid. I will say, I'll give you this. My favorite genre of horror is definitely the 80s. You know, I definitely lean more towards like the 80s slasher films. But if I had to pick a movie that pops up, I did love a movie called Night of the Creeps, because it had a little bit of everything. It had the aliens, familiar. It had the zombies. You know, it had Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins in horror, Tom Atkins is the man. Halloween 3, The Fog, like Night of the Creeps, like he's all over the place.
And so what's your opinion of this new Halloween movie that's coming out?
Hey, well, I'm gonna try this, and you touched the button you should have touched, Laz, because I got to at least give you a minute on this. I know, but this is the third one in the new series, and it was completely based off of just the very first one. So the one back in the late 70s, and then the one that came out in 2018 was part 2, and then 2020 part 3, and now it's part 4.
Yeah.
It's horrible because they completely reconned it. Like in the original Halloween, her and Michael Myers were related. They stopped that, and then it turns out she was hunted. She was training for 40 years because he's gonna come after me. He's gonna come after me. And the last one, it turns out, oh no, he wasn't coming after you. He just was going to the house. He liked the house. So as a result of that, she essentially wasted 40 years training.
She wasted 4 years, yeah.
Getting her daughter killed, and now in this new one, it's going to pretty much be a 60-some-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis fighting in this case, it's James Jude Courtney is the one inside the Michael Myers.
Oh, wow.
The asshole was the original. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it because it's free on Peacock. I don't think I would see it in the theater. And I will probably do a YouTube video because I do have a YouTube channel. And on that, I will definitely probably rip it apart.
No, please feel free to share your YouTube channel. The name of it here. Plug away, please do.
It's Craig, the BGOH, the big guy on horror.
So check out Craig's YouTube. So it is the season. I heard Jamie Lee Curtis signed a contract on Kimmel that this was the last Halloween she'd ever do, which I thought was hilarious.
You know what though? I didn't realize this. It's a good thing she came. I guess I don't know if she cares, but she wound up getting. I want to say it was the last weekend. She finally got herself a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay.
Do you know when a celebrity gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, they have to pay $55,000?
Yes. You have to pay to get a star. Yeah.
I'm good.
Not only do you have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. You said it's 55,000 now. That's crazy. It went up. But you have to pay to maintain it as well. Like it's a yearly fee.
Well, I think that's in the. I don't think. See, that's where the 55 is so high. It's tied into that.
Oh, now it's tied in. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
55. There was a lot of. You think of some of those random 70 celebrities from like a 70s sitcom that gets a star.
Well, yeah. What happens? Do they quietly just remove the sidewalk? Like what happens? That's crazy.
They'll remove stars in some cases. Like people that have come under controversy and things like that will go away. Otherwise, they'll just make more. They'll make more space. They might move around people. They might move. Well, you're not famous anymore. No one's heard of you. Hey, we'll put them way in the back over there.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I've never known like the fact that people walk on the walk. They're like, oh look, there's so and so star. It was manufactured, and you can see that in a store too if you want. But that said, if either you or I were offered one, we wouldn't pay for it, but we'd be like, hey, guess what I was offered? Here's what they offered me. Check this out.
Mara says, seems typical for America. Speaking of America, Mara, 4 hours of Happy Meals for grown-ass McDonald's worker begs customers to stop ordering the adult Happy Meal. There's an adult Happy Meal, Craig, and it is being sold out like hotcakes, for lack of a better pun. Like McFlapjacks. People are going crazy for these adult Happy Meals. What do you think, Craig? Is this like a result of 80s scarring?
It might be. Well, let's face it. There's probably some freaky people that are misled by the title. Ooh, an adult Happy Meal. I wonder what's in that. But it's also the money. Freaking, we talked a little bit before the show. I think it's the cactus, which I don't remember the McDonald's cactus being a character, but the cactus, like, if you get it, it sells for like a couple hundred on eBay. And
so really? Like, the cactus?
I could spend $12 and I can sell
So you're saying I should have kept all of my toys from the 80s when I was a kid?
You know what? I actually collect a lot of some of that stuff. Some of that stuff is worth a ridiculous amount of money. Some of it isn't. But McDonald's people have always been fond of, so this is that definitely, like you said, the nostalgia grab a little bit because they remember when they were younger. But this I imagine will go the way of the Beanie Baby trend because it's thousands and tens and thousands, But it's like remember.
Mara, are you saying that there's lotion in the adult Happy Meal?
See, that would be a different Happy Meal.
That would make sense, yeah, for an adult Happy Meal. Yeah, I think
that would be different.
Craig, did you hear about this comedian that got heckled and they threw a beer at her during a show at Uncle Vinny's in New Jersey? Point Pleasant.
I did hear about that. And it was... Well, let me ask you first and foremost, before we even talk about that, do you have a heckling story? And, something you ever had to deal with somebody, and how'd you do it? Like, what was your worst...
Oh my God!
I have or your worst situation.
I have a couple of years of heckler stories actually, but and I've had there's people don't understand. There's different types of hecklers. There's what I call intentional hecklers and unintentional hecklers. So there are hecklers that do it on purpose, and there's hecklers that don't even know they're doing it. Okay, so and one of my best heckler stories was an unintentional heckler. The person was drunk and asleep in the front row of the show. And so he fell asleep completely in the front. And of course, I cannot ignore him. I mean, I'm trying to do comedy and he's asleep. So I did the best thing I could do. I just started singing him a lullaby.
Oh, that's awesome.
And people were cracking up, and it almost like magic. At the end of the song, he woke up and he looked around and the place went crazy because he looked around, and then I looked him straight in the eyes, Craig, and I said, "This is just a dream. You're only dreaming. This is not real." And it turned out to be a great moment. So when it comes to hecklers, it could either go really good or really bad. You know what I mean?
No, this is true.
In this case, this poor girl, this poor comedian, was trying to do her set in Point Pleasant. This is right here. A comedian performing at New Jersey Comedy Club was nearly hit by a can of beer thrown by an audience member after an uncomfortable exchange.
It had velocity to it. Like you.
Let me see if I can find the video. You would think that in the article they would give me the video. All right.
Yeah,
So.
Look at how hard this is on the wall.
Vote for Donald Trump? What do you think? No. Okay. Here's the question for you. Why would you ask me
Sorry.
that in here, knowing I'm the only Jew in this room? Are you trying to get me killed? If it makes you feel any better, I vote in New York. My vote doesn't matter there. It doesn't matter here either. It doesn't matter, guys. Everybody vote for whoever you want to vote.
Watch.
I don't care who you voted for. I'm just happy we're all here together.
So you voted for Biden.
I don't know. Why does it matter? Yeah, so what? Why does it matter?
I can just tell by your jokes you voted for Biden.
All right. I can tell by the fact that you're still talking when nobody wants you to that you voted for Trump.
That's a good one.
Donor's telling me to stop.
All right, make some noise if you want her to shut up. But I did ask if anybody had any questions.
Watch.
I didn't think it was going to be. That's on me. That was on me for thinking I could have a human interaction with somebody. That's my fault. No, look, I'm such an insecure person. Here, I'll tell you the rest of that bit, and then we'll move on. I'm so insecure. I went and got an IUD.
Did you see that?
I went and got an IUD.
Picked up like a trooper to Chuck Russell.
Watch. Good for her. Good for her. I think she handled it very well.
What's your question?
Did you vote for
No,
Donald?
that's the way you're supposed to handle it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what would go through my mind at that time if that happened to me.
So shout out to Ariel Elias. Shout out to her. She handled it brilliantly, and I can't believe somebody would go to a comedy club and do that. Like it's getting crazy out there, Craig.
Yeah. Well, you just said you've had a few instances in the past year of like a comedian, someone going up to a comedian trying to like punch him and try to hit him.
I've had someone try to punch me, stab me, threaten my life. Trust me, I've had it all. But I mean, never really had someone throw a beer at me, I gotta say. Like that was pretty crazy. Mariel says the husband threw the beer. So that's a perfect couple.
Yeah, I got the idea it was somebody else because it was like building. It took a little bit of time, then all of a sudden. But yeah, and they're getting charged for that. That's at least attempted assault at something. Like I do hope, as well as she handled on stage, I do hope she, through them, I'm following through with as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that to somebody.
Exactly, dude. I hope she follows through with that. I think the club said that they were going to follow through with that.
But that's nuts.
Yeah, speaking of crime, Craig, 6 women in neon green leotard attacked 2 New York subway riders. Why was that sentence so hard for me to say? 6 women in neon green leotards. And here they are. Here are the infamous women in the leotards. The mother of one of the victims told the Post that her daughter told her she was attacked by aliens, adding, "I didn't know what she was talking about." The mother said the attack happened on her daughter's birthday. Quite the birthday, Craig.
Well, what I like about that is the daughter telling the mother, "I was attacked by aliens. Attacked by aliens." You were not attacked by aliens. Don't get. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just don't get how they got away. How did they get away? Like,
How did they get away?
Like,
How did they not catch this group of aliens?
Like, and I wonder if you caught one of them, and like, you only caught me because you're looking for someone in green leotard. That's profiling. I wonder if they were like, I bet somebody filmed this They had to have filmed it for.
I think there's a video.
They had no, but I bet somebody in their group filmed it to edit it somehow, because that's like, you think of a green screen and you think of moving, like editing them out. There has to be a reason for it beyond just this. There's got some viral reason. It can't just be someone deciding, hey girls, what are we gonna do tonight? Well, we got these green jumpsuits we never get to use anymore.
That's insane, dude.
You know, and what do you think if you're on the subway train when they get on? You know, like you're sitting there. All
What? So, chat. What would you do if you were on the subway and a group like this got on and they were violent? What would you do? Mary says they good away through the they got away through the CGI. They jumped into a TV.
There you go.
Those green suits are expensive too, dude. Maybe like they robbed a TV studio or something. They just took off. It's out of control. The subway's out of control, Craig.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been on the subway since pre-COVID, so.
Me neither. I haven't been in the subway for like a year. Maybe more. Maybe once for like 5 minutes. It was empty. I was like terrified on a Saturday afternoon, empty subway. Like, what the hell's going on here? It freaked me out. Giants and Jets fans. Scientists, Craig sent me this. Scientists say all that losing might have made you fat. So basically, Craig, you sent me this. You're saying that NewJersey.com is arguing that if we watch football, we're going to gain weight.
Well, if you watch losing football.
Oh, there's a difference.
If you watch, the thought behind it, and this is the type of stuff I'd actually show my students, because it's like, there's always other variables you got to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously it's not true, because if it was true, then the Cowboy fans would be the biggest of them all. They haven't won in a really long time. I have to make
losing. There it is, guys. Losing.
But
so that makes sense. You would stress eat, I guess.
You stress eat as a result of your team sucking.
And what's your team, Craig?
I'm a Giants fan. Laz, what are you trying to say?
You just said Jets.
No, I did not. I am a Giants
There was
fan.
a Freudian slip, I think. I don't know.
I won't listen. If I'm betting on the Jets, I'll root for the Jets. I'll root for whoever I'm betting on. But Giants fan through and through.
So you caught that game last weekend?
Listening to it, I was up.
It was insane.
It was.
Go Giants. Go Giants.
Nice.
I almost said Jets. See that?
Hopefully they beat the Ravens this week.
Yes. It's gonna be a good game. Good game. Speaking of Halloween, The Watcher, a true story. What really happened in the Westfield, New Jersey home? First of all, of course, this has to happen in New Jersey. Like, this story could only happen in New Jersey. So, Craig, this is a new Netflix show. I don't understand why this is so terrifying, first of all. I got to tell you. As a Latino, if I move into this house and you start sending me letters, I'm going to wipe my butt with those. I'm not going to care. You know what I mean? Like, you can send me all the letters you want. Like, that's not threatening for me.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a little freaky. So you know the story about The Watcher, right, Craig?
Yep, absolutely.
Netflix new limited series The Watcher has officially hit the streaming service. Here's what you need to know. The home and they give you the whole address. Mm-hmm. In Westfield, New Jersey, was built in 1905. The single-style house, blah, 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 blah. A couple purchased the home, and shortly after purchasing the home, they started receiving these anonymous, harassing letters from a guy that would call himself The Watcher. The Watcher. The Watcher. And he would just send them letters about the house, about seeing them with their kids, about just watching them all the time. Watching. And I haven't seen this series, but beyond that, Craig, that's where the story ended. He just sent letters.
Yeah, he did just send letters. It became a bigger story, I think, too, because then it became a real estate issue. Because the people selling the house had gotten a letter, and they didn't disclose it. So then it became, well, if you got some random letter, did you have to disclose it, or do you think it was? I didn't buy into it. I didn't think it was a thing. But
Yeah.
the guy was creepy in what he said. He said, I shouldn't say the guy, because they did find female DNA, so it might not have been a guy at all.
Really? See, I didn't know
on the
that.
letters. But it's like, they said stuff like, oh, I see you have your youngest in that one room by the window. That's good. I can watch them. Have you found what's in the walls yet? I agree with you, though, man. If I got those letters in the mail, now, anyone I know that I would live with would probably be terrified by it. I would just make sure they never saw the letters. They would be like, well, no one's gonna
You
know
would
that
hide
game.
the letters.
Well, yes, that's a nice, expensive house. You pay that much money.
You're thinking about mortgage payments.
Absolutely.
About that resale value. You're a smart dude. You see, I knew it. You're a smarty pants.
What's that called? Upside down on your mortgage? Then all of a sudden, it's less than what you
Yeah,
paid for.
you don't want to show anybody these letters.
They could be a knife in the wall. I'm like, nope. I got these nice position. I'm good.
You just prepaid.
You know, hey, look, we new cutlery. We can try it out and see how it goes.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Chat, what do you say? DJ Tony says similar to the Amityville house. That's another house that's in New York, right?
I'm not gonna fuck with the Amityville house. That's a whole different thing.
That's off limits.
There's been some bad things associated with that house. Now, as to whether or not it's possession things, that's not a, you know. I will give you a horror. You asked about horror movies, brother, just real quick with Amityville.
Yeah, please do.
There are dozens and dozens. I almost feel bad for it. Like Amityville horror, saying Amityville counts as public domain. So like a lot of times when they make like a bootleg horror movie, they can call it like the Amityville Shark, the Amityville Snake Mine, and people are like, oh, it's connected to that. No, it has nothing to do with that, but they can use that title to try to lure
So
you
it's
in.
public domain.
It's they're saying something Amityville doesn't count, like, so you could use it. You know,
So we
it's
could
allowed.
call this the Amityville stream.
Yes, you could, 100%. You know, and then all of a sudden, I wonder what's going on that stream.
The Amityville Care Bear.
You know, on that note too, we were talking about children, you know, not watching stuff today. Do you know they're making, because it became public domain, they're making a horror movie called Blood and Honey, and the slashers are Winnie the Pooh, and I think Piglet's the other one.
So what? So
Full-blown horror movie. Winnie
yeah,
the
I
Pooh,
think I heard about this.
Blood and Honey.
What's it called?
Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey. What a name. So when is this coming out?
The trailer's around now. I doubt it'll come to theaters, but I'm sure it'll be streaming on demand.
Oh,
Like,
wow. So it's
sometime.
actually going to come to streaming. So it's like, it's not an indie, it's an actual thing.
Oh no! Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's got to have. I saw the trailer. It's got a little bit of a budget to it, you know. So it'll go to Amazon Prime or a Netflix or something like that. It's maybe a Shudder, which is one of the horror streaming sites. But I tell you this, I hate to say it, I hate to admit it. The trailer looks legitimately good because it opens up with Christopher Robin bringing his fiancée to see his old friends, and he gets there and like the woods all dilapidated. You see like a tombstone for Eeyore.
That sounds freaky.
Yeah, it is. I just hope parents don't ever confuse it with their kids.
Does the guy does the Winnie Pooh have the same Pooh voice?
I doubt it.
That's a freaky voice already.
He is a lot bigger too. So, but yeah, I can't wait. That's gonna be something that's gonna be a lot of fun. I see Faye Zen saying, "No way, not enough. Keeping me here watching this, make me leave." I'll make them watch it because I know who Faye Zen is.
Yeah, big shout out to Faye Zen. Thanks for joining the show. It says, no way, I am out. Not enough sage in the world keeping me there. Watch me leave.
Yes, what do you think of that, Laz? Do you know anyone who does that in the house? Like they burn sage or paleo sticks or...
Dude, I'm Latino, bro. Come on. I have at least 5 members of my family that are experts in the sage arts. Are you kidding?
When you know what people think about you when you leave at their home and they're like, what are you doing? Oh, no way. Just fragrance.
Mario says the Amityville Honey Pot. That's a great name, my man. Yeah, so are you kidding? Mario knows. If you're Latino, you have automatic psychics in your family. And you've seen some freaky shit. As a kid, I saw some freaky stuff. That's why I kind of stay away from the whole horror genre. You know what I mean? Like, my childhood was a horror movie in a lot of ways. Not completely, but It was that side, that clean yourself with an egg side.
The egg, I know the egg cleanse. I do. I've had friends who've done the egg cleanse, and then you got to throw it out outside the home. You can't throw it out in the home. Like,
Yes.
And you got to get like almost naked to do it too, which is almost like, are you gullible as well as possessed?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm taking that, Craig. I'm sorry. I'm taking that.
Take it away. Take it away.
Mario says sage is all the rage. That's right, my man. When you smell sage, you know some shit is going down. Like, you know.
Well, that's what you got to get in the other thing too, the paleo sticks, because apparently sage is to push away spirits, but paleo sticks push away like the bad people. So like, if you say you might want good ghosts, so then you do the paleo sticks, so you get the good ghosts.
So that way you're not completely throwing out all the spirits.
Yeah,
you can keep some.
Exactly. I said that to somebody who saged. I'm like, well, I feel like my loved ones are here.
Saged.
Did he just kick them out with sage? Oh, and then they looked up and paleo sticks instead.
And then all of a sudden the green aliens show up.
You know what? That would be a hell of a party. I bet someone's the costume this year for Halloween. I'm one of the subway attackers.
That's a great segue. Speaking of Halloween costumes, Craig,
I know.
what do you think is going to be the most controversial Halloween costume this year?
You know it already, man. We were talking about Netflix. It's amazing to me how popular it's become, but the Jeffrey Dahmer costume you're going to see everywhere. And I'm going to go one step further. I won't use names. I'll protect the guilty. But two of my very close friends, I'm actually performing their wedding about a year from now. So yay. But he is going as Jeffrey Dahmer, and his fiancée is going as one of the victims. And
wow.
Like, so the only thing we know is we can't take pictures.
Wow.
No
that is. That's going to be a controversial Halloween costume for sure.
Absolutely. It's going to be all over the place. Like, I'm just hoping, I'm wondering if there's going to be any celebrity, like, dumb enough to do that. You know
what? I think you called something here. You called it already early. You heard it here first on Laz Vic Live, ladies and gentlemen. And it's real easy to dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer, too. It's not a hard costume.
No, you just need like the yellow glasses and like pretty much a crappy pants and a shirt. The one thing too with the serial killer stuff, it is weird to me. Like if you go back to when we were younger, like we were nerds if we like stuff like superhero movies.
Yeah.
And then the superhero stuff exploded. Like what the fuck? A couple of I'm sorry, Coast. I don't want to. What the hell? Right. A decade or so late from it being popular and everyone into it. And then I know people, I myself as a psychologist, I know a lot. I know about Dom, I know about pretty much all the big ones. I debated even going to that field. It's just really hard to do. But now
psychology, you're saying? You debated to get into psychology?
Well, no, I am a psychologist.
So you are? Wow. So I need your assessment, Craig.
We'll talk later. I just teach, I don't practice. I debated trying to do something in the profiling realm, but it's so impossibly hard. Plus, there's a lot of physical fitness tests associated with those groups, too, that I just don't think it would work out too well. But to nowadays, serial killers, like, people are talking about, oh, did you see Jeffrey Dahmer? I was binge-watching Jeffrey Dahmer. That stuff's crazy. Like, talking about it like it's so normal. Like, Ted Bundy.
Now, have you seen it? Have you seen the series?
I don't need, I'm going to say this in a cocky way. I don't need to. There's nothing, like, people talk to me. Hey, did you know Jeff? Yeah, no, I know. No,
so,
but did you know? Yeah, I know.
Being in the psychology field, what is your and being into horror, what is your take on serial killers? Like, are you fascinated by them, or do you think it's a sickness?
Well, I mean, the majority of serial killers are going to fit some sort of antisocial personality disorder diagnosis, meaning some of the stuff, they don't have the same barometer for morality. Not to get too much into it. Yeah. I'm more fascinated with how, especially the ones who are really coercive, like the ones who, even though, like with Ted Bundy, even though women knew there was this predator going around, he was still able, good-looking, charismatic guy, he still talked them into his vehicle, they went away with him. In Jeffrey Dahmer's case, he got people drunk at the bars and drugged them. so it didn't take any elegance to it. Not that
Okay,
I
so
like Bundy, because
there's a difference. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
not that I like Bundy, because Bundy was a necrophiliac too. But Bundy, if you know his story, he escaped prison once because he got healthy and lost weight, and he was able to fit through a grating into the ceiling.
Oh wow.
Very random. And then he killed, unfortunately, a bunch of people after that.
Holy cow. Chat, if you have any questions for Craig before we wrap up the show, now is the time to ask. I didn't know about that you were a psychologist. I had no idea. That's fascinating.
That's what I teach. I teach any given semester. I teach 3 or 4 different types of classes.
Wow.
I have done counseling in the past, but I don't. It's not anything I do now. So I mainly teach. But yeah, no, that's my background, psychologist.
Checking in with the chat, Claude says, I bet there's going to be a bunch of Eddie Munsons from Stranger Things. Absolutely, I agree 100%.
And another huge one. And
that guitar solo, by the way, I don't know if you saw Stranger Things, but I just got to say, that was for me the scene of the show. And I thought Stranger Things Season 3 was amazing. Mara says, nerds are cool now. I agree 100%. I remember as a kid, there was like a group of other kids stealing everyone's hats, and like their sports jackets. And everybody had like Giants and Yankees. And my hat, I had Batman, a big Batman. And they looked at me and they're like, no. They left me alone. And now it's cool.
That's what we're talking about. The stuff that was nerdy for us at some point. Well, wow, that's not a thing. Now people are into it. So
yeah.
I don't get it.
Now they will steal that Batman hat.
You know what I found funny too with Stranger Things season? I think it's 4, by the way.
Oh, is it 4? I'm sorry.
No, I don't. How dare you get? I don't know.
I'm gonna get angry chats. Okay.
So is the fact that all of a sudden like a new generation's exposed to Metallica, and
yes.
And all the people who love Metallica are now mad. Like, no, they can't like Metallica. That was my thing. They don't know Metallica. What the hell?
Exactly. Yeah, and just hearing that song, it brought back all those memories from the 90s and stuff. It was awesome. But yeah, now there's a whole new generation of Metallica fans because of that.
And people are mad. Speaking of bringing back the 90s, something I'm very happy about, Blink-182 is getting back together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their newest song comes out tomorrow.
Oh, get out! Okay.
And then they're going on tour in 2023. You got to be our age to really enjoy that, but still.
Yeah, no, I loved all those bands from the 90s. I mean, I feel like I'm getting old because I just go back to listen to that now, and I don't have any idea what's going on today at all. I don't know any artists. I don't know anything. Mario says, I agree. Didn't need to watch it either. I followed the story for years for Dahmer, so he knows all about it. Tony says, Ed Gein. I don't know what that is.
Ed Gein is a pretty infamous individual. I'm not going to say serial killer because his body total wasn't enough, but he did kill a couple of people. He did have. He's the person that Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and even the movie is loosely based on. Like, he had a nipple on his front door. Like, he had nipple body parts all over the place. He had a jaw of noses in his barn.
Wow, that must have hurt. I mean that. Thank you for bringing that up, Tony. You're sick. You're sick.
Yeah, Ed Gein is infamous for that reason. Everyone's like, oh, that's like
the nipple door.
That's face, and that's Norman Bates.
Ouch.
Not Norman. Not Norman. Actually, no, yeah, Norman.
Yeah.
Psycho as well in that regard.
FaZe says, "What's your Halloween costume this year, Craig?"
Well, that individual is trying to be sneaky, because it's a secret, and I might have a few. But I will tell you, one of my costumes this year might involve this mask. So I'll give you a little bit of that. Which is part of the mask and the black foam.
There's a little hint for you there, FaZe.
That's wonderful, but the big costume is a secret. Can't tell you.
Okay.
I did see Mario ask the question: do you still feel there's room for new stories or approaches in horror, or nothing new under the sun? Listen, I think that you get creative people together, even the older stories can sound good. Right now, I am in love with Ty West, and X, which came out, and then Pearl, which is out now, and then eventually Maxine. And even though some of the tropes are similar, he's doing a lot of unique things in sort of character development study. So
Very
there's
cool.
definitely people that can do it.
Very cool. Mara says, Mario, Buffalo is a hot spot for new horror films. Hey, Buffalo, New York is a big filming area.
I gotta say this too. I see Tony said killed kids dressed as a clown, and he's the one who mentioned Ed Gein. The guy who was a killer as a clown, or the guy who was a killer who also dressed up as a clown, was John Wayne Gacy. But he didn't.
That's right.
He didn't kill kids as a clown. He actually went to a hospital, volunteered at a hospital, and to help sick kids feel better. You know, so he didn't actually wear the pogo suit, which is the name of his main clown. But he was a devious one too. He was he was put to death, and lots of bodies in the crawl space.
This conversation took quite the turn, Craig.
Oh, it's the Halloween season.
It is Halloween. It is getting pretty dark with nipple doors and symbols and Amityville houses.
I can tell you some really dark. I'm not gonna. We could go down that rabbit hole one day if you want. There's a lot of.
We need to have like a horror show.
100%. Way darker things than just that.
Yeah. DJ Tony was asking to play a trailer earlier, but I can't play trailers anymore because we get dinged. We get copyright dinged for every little infraction here.
YouTube, I think YouTube sometimes is ridiculous in the stuff that they do. You know, like as far as that goes, like, you know, a song in the background, all of a sudden, sorry, it gets struck. I got a weird one for you though. There's a lot of, you said you're a gamer. I don't know. This probably doesn't count as a game in your world. But like Pokemon Go, you're familiar with Pokemon Go?
Yes.
This is a couple of years ago, but you had all these huge YouTube Pokemon Go people. One of which now was a hot chick who has an OnlyFans. I haven't seen the OnlyFans, but I'm tempted, not gonna lie. But anyway, she's in the 30s. She's in the 30s, it's okay, it's not weird. But all of them had their channels removed from the platform for a while because they used the term CP in their titles, which stands for combat power in Pokemon. But the YouTube algorithm picked it up as...
Oh, yeah. Don't say that!
Wow. It's insane.
YouTube will cut us off that quick.
Well, you finished the statement.
They're cracking down. Yeah, they are. And they will shut down your stream so quick, it's crazy. But, in other news, big shout out to my man and happy birthday to Monty Mason, fellow comedian. I had to stop the show just to show you his Facebook page. Monty is a fantastic comedian. Craig and I both worked with this guy for years. You know Monty, right, Craig?
I haven't worked with him. I worked with him. Mario, I thankfully got to work with a lot. I have worked with him, just not at the same level.
So big shout out to my man Monty Mason. Check him out. Support his comedy. Go see a show. Craig, with that said, I want to thank you It's already been an hour, Craig.
Love this, man. This is so much fun. I needed this too. It's a nice.
This was awesome. I want to thank you for jumping on in and answering some questions. And we learned about you. I had no idea about the psychology stuff. So I think that's super fascinating that we got to know you not only as a comedian, but as a teacher. Is there any parting thoughts that you want to give the audience or any shows coming up or anything you want to say?
I will say it is nice to be able to do an interview for a change that doesn't involve a casting couch. But aside from that, listen, I had a ball, man. It was a great time. So you keep up the good work.
That's awesome. Thank you, my man. Thank you so much for joining the show. The last chats of the evening, Mario, thanking you for taking the question. DJ Tony's calling everyone sick. Mario says, happy birthday, Monty. Yes, happy birthday. He says, so humble. Love McLaughlin. Hey, Craig, safe journey, my man. And Mario, once again, wishing us great. He loved the show. Thank you, my man. We have to have Mario on the show again. He was on a past episode, but we definitely got to get him back in here. Craig, once again, thank you 100 times for coming on the show and sharing your stories. You're welcome here anytime. We will definitely do this again.
Hit me up if you ever need somebody, hit me up. It's all good.
Awesome. Hang tight for 1 second. Let me just end the show here.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, guys. Well, this is the end of our journey. Laz Vic live episode. I don't know which episode, but if you want to see more episodes, you can visit lazviclive.com on the computer webs. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment, follow, share, all that stuff, I want to thank, once again, comedian Craig McLaughlin for joining me here tonight. And I want to thank the chat for hanging out. Mario and Clawwig and Mara and DJ Tony and FaZe Den and Hara in me. All you guys made a great experience and a great show. And I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I'm your host, comedian Laz Vic, and I'll see you on the next Laz Vic Live.